Type 2 diabetes is a disease characterized by insulin resistance. Genetics can play a role in its development, but unhealthy lifestyle choices can trigger its onset. Alzheimer's disease is a neurodegenerative disorder which leads to the death of neurons and causes problems with memory and cognition. While the connection between these two diseases may not be obvious, the link stems from insulin resistance. Insulin resistance caused by type 2 diabetes leads to lowered levels of insulin in the brain, which can lead to multiple negative effects. Less insulin in the brain is associated with improper glucose metabolism. Dysfunctional glucose metabolism leads to a direct negative effect on cognition and memory function because glucose is needed to provide energy to neurons associated with learning and memory. Normally, in the brain, insulin downregulates beta-amyloid-derived diffusible ligands from binding to their receptors. But without insulin, these ADDLs bind and lead to increased phosphorylation of tau proteins, leading to neurofibrillary tangles and impaired synapses. Ultimately, these symptoms lead to oxidative stress and neuronal death. Cognition and memory decline, along with the death of neurons, are key factors in the pathology of Alzheimer's disease. The incidence of both type 2 diabetes and Alzheimer's disease are rising dramatically. In 2050, the number of cases of type 2 diabetes will likely surpass 86 million, and the number of Alzheimer's disease will likely reach 13 million, which is a very significant portion of the American public.
People of all ages are developing type 2 diabetes, and the age of typical onset is getting lower and lower. This is most likely due to Americans' unhealthy lifestyle.
This could potentially lead to a huge problem in our nation due to increasing size of the at-risk population.
If more people are developing type 2 diabetes at a lower age, and these people are at risk for Alzheimer's disease, the age of onset of Alzheimer's disease is likely to lower as well.
Since this disease negatively impacts cognition and memory, as the age of onset lowers, its debilitating effects become more difficult to deal with.
Today, people who are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease are likely at an age where they're retired, have grown children, and are able to live in a facility that's able to accommodate for their needs.
But if people are diagnosed with Alzheimer's at a younger age because their lifestyle choices led to diabetes at a young age, symptoms would be more taxing on their life.
Having a disease which so severely impacts memory and cognition would not make it easy to hold down a stable job or raise children.
Being diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease doesn't necessarily mean a person's life will end quickly, but unfortunately the quality of life for both the patient and the family diminishes.
Ultimately, we need to change our lifestyle habits.
It is more important now than ever before that we change our lifestyle behaviors along with the rest of the American public to prevent type 2 diabetes and lower our risks for developing Alzheimer's disease.
Research has shown that minimizing unhealthy and sugary foods and replacing them with healthy foods high in antioxidants can help reduce one's chance of developing type 2 diabetes.
Of course, a change in diet isn't nearly as beneficial without a regular exercise plan.
American healthcare occasionally struggles with preventative care, but it is integral that people realize what kinds of negative problems can occur due to poor nutrition and an unhealthy lifestyle.
It is important to remember that living right is always half the fight.